والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Alhamdulillah, we begin by praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for this opportunity to continue our lessons in the Muqaddimah Hadramiyyah. It has been some time that I do not do a video recording because any on-site class that we have. But maybe from now on we will return back to our video recording. And so far we have covered a few chapters before this. And today inshallah ta'ala we will enter into the chapter pertaining to the Eid prayers. So in our lesson last week or the previous week, we were speaking about the end of the chapter of the Jumu'ah prayers. So going back into our book, we also spoke about Salatul Khawf. That is the last thing that we mentioned in our last lesson. So today inshallah we are going to speak about the Eid prayers. So the word Eid comes from the word Aada Ya'udu. Aada Ya'udu. In the Arabic language, Aada meaning something that returns, because Eid is something that always returns yearly. So that is why when in the Arabic language, when we use the word Eid, it refers to something that returns. So in Islam, there are two Eid, this festive in the season that our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam he taught us the significance. We have an Eid al-Fitri and Eid al-Adha. So Eid al-Fitri, it has a relation with al-Fitr, that is the breaking of fast because of the obligation of Ramadan, fasting in the month of Ramadan. So the last day of fasting is a celebration of our success in observing the commandments of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in refraining from the things that break our fast. And then we have Eid al-Adha, and this is has relation with al-Udhiyah, animals that are slaughtered for sacrifice to attain the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the author mentioned the ruling pertaining to the prayer. Here we are speaking about the Eid prayer, whether it is Eid al-Fitri or Eid al-Adha. So he said here sunnatun. In our madhab al-Imam Shafi'i, it is sunnah. There are differences whether it's wajib, is it wajib in your sunnah. In our madhab, it is sunnah mu'akkada, and it is a confirmed, it is sunnah, something that the Prophet ﷺ never missed any praying in. Wa waqtuha ba'da tulu'i shamsi ila zawal, and the time that we can perform the Eid prayer is when the rising of the sun. When the sun rises, this is the time that it is permissible for us to perform the Eid prayer. But of course it is recommended, as what the author mentioned here, sunnah for us to perform the prayers at a later time. This is what he mentioned, وَيُسَنُّ تَأْخِيرُهَا إِلَى الْإِرْتِفَاعِ, that we what you call it, that when the sun has risen up after some time, and after the timing of the shuruk, and especially which is waqtul haram, then this is the time that the sunnah for us to perform the Eid prayers. وَفِعْلُهَا فِي الْمَسْجِدِ إِلَّا إِذَا ضَاقَ. It is a sunnah to perform the prayer in the masjid, unless if the masjid is small, and then only we perform the Eid prayer in the open space, whether in the desert or in the open field. Now that is better. That if we can gather a lot of people in one place, that is better, because that will make the reason inshallah that we attain unity of hearts, and Muslims gather in one place, making dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with one voice and praying with one imam. That is better than we pray in different places. Then he mentioned وَأَحْيَاءُ لَيْلَتَيْهِمَا بِالْعِبَادَةِ. It is also a sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that our Prophet encouraged that when comes to the night, when the night of Eid, it is a sunnah that we enliven the night, with ibadah, and enliven the night by making ibadah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And there's a hadith where the Prophet mentioned, Man ahya laylatal Eid, ahya Allahu qalbahu yawma tamutul qulub. Those who enliven any the nights any of the Eid, Allah any will enliven any the hearts any of a servant, the day where the hearts any will be died, will be dead. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make it a reason that our hearts any is alive and with iman. So earlier, بعد طلوع الشمس ارتفاع, the word any ارتفاع any refers any to shuruk, the timing any of shuruk. So shuruk any is about 16 minutes. So if the timing any rising any of the sun any at 7, then after 7 and 16 and we can perform any the Eid any prayer. This is any sunnah any in our madhab. Now, in the Maliki madhab any they say is wajib. Now, you cannot any pray before that. But these are some many differences. So the author any mentioned it is sunnah yani to delay. Tamam. Wa ihya'u laylatayhima bil ibadati, that's what we mentioned. Yani to enliven any nights any with ibadah. Wal ghuslu min nisfil layl. And to perform any the ghusl. Ghusl here yani refers to bathing. So when we make any the intention of bathing, and we say I make any the intention to bathe the bath of Eid, Eidul Fitri or Eidul Adha. So this bathing any is because of the day, not because any of the prayer, because any of the day. And it can begin by Nisfil Layl. Nisfil Layl any is the middle any of the night. So we can any perform any this bath any with the intention. Nawaitu ghusl al-Eid lillahi ta'ala. In Arabic any this one any we say I make the intention any to bathe the day any of Eid for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wa tatayyub wa tazayyun. It is a sunnah yani that we wear the perfume, that we cleanse any ourselves, wear something nice, tazayyun, yani good clothes, nice clothes. It is a sunnah yani that we display the ni'mah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the clothing any that Allah has given us. So this is any the time any that we wear nice any clothing. This is a sunnah. Lil qa'idi wal khariji wal kibari wal sirari. So it is for everybody. Whether any a person is going any to stay at home, or a person any who is going out, of kibar, sirar, yani adult children. Lil musalli wa ghayrihi. For those any who are attending any the prayers, for those who are not attending the prayers. So all the sunnahs any are applicable any to everyone. Are applicable to everyone. So wearing any perfume, wearing any nice clothes is applicable any to everyone. Whether they are going out of their house or they are not going out of their house, whether they are going into the prayers or not going to the prayers, whether they are adults or they are children. So it is a sunnah yani for everyone. Wa khurujul ajuz bi badlatin bila tibin. And it is also yani recommended yani for old women yani to perform the Eid prayer. Bi badlatin. Badla yani meaning these are clothes any that are worn any in the houses. Clothes any that are worn in the houses. Meaning these are not any clothes any that are nice worn any outside. And this is for al-ajuz. Al-ajuz here any refers any to old women. Bila tibin, without any wearing perfume. Without wearing perfume. So when comes any to young woman, and it is not recommended. For young woman any to attend any the Eid any prayer, it is not any recommended. Now, what is recommended any is for old women. But nowadays any in our society any all these things any are not any applied. Nowadays, when there is any an opening where women any can attend, and you find any everyone any attends, regardless any whether they are old or they are young. But here any the author any mention any this differentiation any. If all people any it is recommended. Why any old any and young? Of course, all these things any is to avoid any fitna. All these things to avoid fitna, because when there is any a lot of people in the congregation and men any are present, the fear any of remixing is there, and likewise, and people any might look here and might look there and look any at the beauty any of a young woman any for example, and the perfume any that she's wearing and so on and so forth. So all these things any can have any effect any on the men any who are looking any at her. So Islam taught us any the importance any to stay away any from situation any that we might any be the reason for certain any sins any to be committed, or we might any be in a situation anywhere we are the victims any of such any situation that sins any are committed any in this blessed day. So I mentioned earlier that it is not any the thing any that is happening any in our country today, because free mixing in our country is something that is rampant everywhere you go, wherever you are, whether you are in the masjid or you're outside the masjid. So this is something, and maybe when we read any of the books of ulama, sometimes we might be shocked to see what actually they meant, and when they say wal ajuz, and why ajuz? He is saying that it is only recommended for all women to come. What about in young women? What he's trying to say is that young women not at all recommended to observe, unless if there is any strict restriction where there is no mixing, everything is covered, for example at one angle and so on and so forth, and there is no any fitna, then only it can be recommended. But otherwise, the original ruling is it is not recommended for them. So for young women, it is better for them to pray at home. So if a young woman today pray at home with this intention, she will be rewarded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for this intention and this practice. So this is the difference between a person who knows any ahkam and a person who does not know. So if you are a young woman, you know this ruling, so you should abstain, not to go into the masjid. You pray at home, and that is better. That is better in terms of rewards. But some people they do not understand, and they thought that no matter what, praying at the masjid is much better than praying at home. Yes, praying at the masjid is better for the men. Praying at the masjid is better for the men especially. But for women there are other rulings, they are not the same as men praying in the masjid. So he mentioned wal bukur li ghayr al imam, it is a sunnah to come into the masjid early li ghayr al imam. But as for the imam, it is not recommended. The imam he comes later, when the times for khutbah, when the times for prayers, then he comes in. Not sit at the mimbar after fajr and wait for the prayer. No, this is not sunnah for the imam. So the imam come late. This is to increase in haiba. So when the imam comes at the later time, this will increase in awe. This is the thing about the imam. Likewise, pertaining to Jum'ah prayers, also we mentioned that it is not a sunnah for the imam to come early for Jum'ah. So if you are the khatib, do not sit in the masjid when you are giving a khutbah later. This is not recommended. So when do the khatib comes into the masjid, the khatib comes to the masjid once the adhan has been called out. والبكور لغير الإمام والمشي ذهابا والرجوع بطريق آخر أقصر كما في سائر العبادات. So now the author mentioned was والمشي ذهابا والرجوع بطريق آخر. It is a sunnah to walk into the masjid. It is a sunnah to walk to the masjid. If a person lives a bit far, it is a sunnah to walk. It is a sunnah to walk unless if the distance is too far. That it might take hours to get to the masjid. But if distance is not too far, it is recommended then that a person walks, because at the end of the day, walking carries more rewards than riding. Walking carries more rewards. The hadith of the Prophet ﷺ pertaining to walking is known. Every step that we take, Allah will forgive our sin. Allah will increase the degrees, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive our sin. So there are many things that is given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what you call it, pertaining to walking. Also of course in the hadith, there is a hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam where the Prophet mentioned wa tawha wa antum tamshuna wa alaykumus sakina. The Prophet mentioned come into the masjid while you are walking, wa alaykumus sakina, and always you have tranquility. Do not hasten. Do not walk in a haste, but walk with sakina, relax. In our language, we say walk in a relaxing manner. This is the sunnah of going into the masjid. Then the author mentioned go in one direction and go back to the other direction. Type what is the reason? Because you see, when we walk, the earth witness our footsteps. The earth. So whatever things that we do, they are witnesses. They are witnesses. When we walk into a particular place, our footsteps and the earth that our footsteps and steps, they will be witness for us Yawm al-Qiyamah. So the more footsteps we make, and the more places that we walk for this form of ibadah, we will attain any more rewards from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we will have any more witness. We will have any more witnesses. This is what the Quran is saying. Arjuluhum bima kanu yaksibun. Yani Allah mentioned that their hands will become the witness, their legs will become their witness in Yawm al-Qiyamah. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when coming into the masjid, he will take any one way, and return, and he will take any another. He will take any another way, and that is shorter, because going has any more rewards when it comes into the footsteps. Kama fi sa'il ibadat, and likewise in other forms of ibadah. طيب. Then the author mentioned wal isra'u fi nahri wa ta'khiru fil fitri. So there is a difference between Eidul and Fitri and Eidul Adha. So there is a difference. Now, and it is based on the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What is the wisdom behind it? Because Eidul Adha, there is animals of sacrifice. After we perform our prayers, we will perform any sacrifice. So in this situation, it is a sunnah for us to hasten a bit when it comes to Eidul Adha, but not in Eidul Fitri. Eidul Fitri is a different situation. Eidul Fitri, after the prayers and khalas, it's just what you call it. We engage in one another in visiting and so on. But when it comes to Eidul Adha, there are work that need to be done. There are animals that needed to be slaughtered. There are people who are waiting. There are people who are poor who are waiting for the meat that is to be slaughtered. So it is a sunnah that there must be a bit of hastiness when it comes to Eidul Adha. But when it comes to Eidul Fitri, it is a sunnah that we delay a bit. Wala aklu fihi qablaha wa tamrun wa witrun. It is a sunnah fi Eidul Fitri that a person before the prayers eat from the tamr, these dates, and to eat it in witr, in odd number, 1 or 3, 5. This is a sunnah before we go out for our prayers. Why? Because this is Eidul Fitri. Eidul Fitri. The word fitr meaning that we are breaking from our fast, because there's no more fasting. So by eating in the morning, it is a sunnah, as a sign that we are breaking, that we are not fasting from the beginning of the day. But not in Eidul Adha. Eidul Adha, it is not a sunnah for us to eat, because the sunnah of eating comes after prayers. The sunnah of eating comes after prayers. It is a sunnah that we eat from the udhiyah, from the animal that is slaughtered. So that is why also part of the wisdom is that we hasten in Eidul Adha, not in Eidul Fitri. ويكبر في ركعة الأولى قبل القراءة سبعا يقينا مع رفع اليدين بين الاستفتاح والتعوذ. So now the author speaks about performing the Eid prayers. So Eidul Fitri we say usalli Eid al-Fitri lillahi ta'ala, or usalli sunnat Eid al-Fitri lillahi ta'ala, Eid al-Adha lillahi ta'ala. I pray the sunnah of Eid al-Adha for the sake of Allah, or Eid al-Fitri for the sake of Allah. Tamam, makmuman, as a makmum. So when we perform the prayers, we do the takbir, after takbir al-ihram, before what you call it, the recitation of Surah al-Fatiha, we perform 7 times of takbir. Once we do takbir, Allahu Akbar, we recite iftitah, Allahu Akbar kabir, alhamdulillah kathira, subhanallah bikatam wasila. And then the imam does another 7 times, Allahu Akbar. In between the 7 times, he reads subhanallah, alhamdulillah, wa la ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar. Then after the 7 times, then ta'awuz and Fatiha. Wa fi thaniyati khamsan. In the second rak'ah, 5 takbir. Now, first rak'ah, 7 takbir. Second rak'ah, 5 takbir. وَلَا يُكَبِّرُ الْمَسْبُوقِ إِلَّا مَا أَدْرَكَهُ. So if a person is a latecomer masbuq, so he only does the takbir what is balance. For example, and he comes and the Imam and he is doing in the last 2 takbir. So the Imam say Allahu Akbar, then he does any takbiratul ihram, then he follows any Allahu Akbar, khalas. After the Imam stops the takbir, the masbuk and he do not continue. The masbuk and he do not continue. Thus and he listen and to the recitation of the Imam after that. Because some people and he might be thinking that I'm a masbuk, I only done 2 any of the Imam, so I need to do another 5. No, because this is a sunnah, this is not any wajib. So we follow any the Imam. The Imam and he does takbir, we follow the Imam. The Imam stops takbir, we stop any the takbir. Then any the author and he mentioned wa qira'atu qaf, and it is a sunnah, that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and he used any to recite Suratul Qaf. And Suratul Qaf and the recitation of Suratul Qaf and in prayer, wallahu alam, and I think nobody any does it anymore. Today we have never heard, for example, Imam and he recites Suratul Qaf in the first rak'ah. The situation that we are in and today, even in Eid, you recite Sabih Isma Rabbikal A'la, people consider this to be long. What about and you write in Suratul Qaf? So this is what the Prophet ﷺ used to recite in Eid. So he said, وَقِرَاءَةُ قَافْ وَاقْتَرَبَتْ اقْتَرَبَتِ السَّاعَةُ وَانشَقَّ الْقَمَرُ. This is Suratul Qamar. So the first rak'ah is Suratul Qaf, second rak'ah is Suratul Qamar. Naam. First rak'ah is Suratul Qaf, second rak'ah is Suratul Qamar. Or Al-A'la wal-Ghashiyah. This usually and it is what anyway recite. Al-A'la wal-Ghashiyah. Sabih Isma Rabbikal A'la, first rak'ah. هل أتاك حديث الغاشية second ركعة. ويقول بين كل تكبيرتين الباقيات الصالحات سبحان الله والحمد لله ولا إله إلا الله والله أكبر سرا سرا meaning in a way that is silent واضعا يمناه على يسراه بينهما. So every time we raise our hand, we put our hands the right on top of the left, raise again. Every time we do takbir and we raise our hand, so in between we recite subhanallah walhamdulillah وَلَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهُ اللَّهُ أَكْبَرُ. The rest of the prayer is the same as normal prayers. The rest of the prayers is the same as normal prayers. So when it comes to the Eid prayers, no issue, very easy. ثُمَّ خَطَبَ خُطْبَتَيْن. The author mentioned خَطَبَ خُطْبَتَيْن. Khatib and he does any to khutbah. يَجْلِسُ قَبْلَهُمَا جِلْسَةً خَفِيفَةً. Before he stands up for the first khutbah, he sits down for a while. He sits down for a while as a fasil to differentiate between the prayers and the khutbah. And this is a sunnah. وَيَذْكُرُ فِيهِمَا مَا يَلِيقُ. Then when he speaks in the khutbah, he speaks what is required for him to speak. So it is important to speak about taqwa, iman, the adab in ziyarah, for example, when it comes to Eid al-Fitri, the importance of obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the istiqamah in amal after Ramadan. This is usually the content of the khutbah in Eid al-Fitri. Now we have completed Ramadan, so whatever we have benefited from Ramadan, do not make it into a waste. How are we able to continue this endeavor until next Ramadan comes? When Eid al-Adha we speak about the sacrifice of Nabi Ibrahim alayhi salam, the importance of sacrifice, the importance of yaqeen in Allah, the importance in faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in taqwa, in iman. So these are the contents that usually we speak about in khutbah, about death. Time is short, life is short. One day we return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, speaks about Yawm al-Qiyamah to remind people about their obligations. أيوة. ويذكر فيهما ما يليق ويكبر في الأولى 9 وفي الثانية 7 ولاء. So for the khatib, when he begins the first khutbah, he does takbir, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. This is called wala'an, wala. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. This is the way he recites the takbir. Not Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. This is not the way. It's Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. So first khutbah, the first khutbah 7. Afwan, 9. Then second khutbah 7. Wala'an, continuously. So this is pertaining to the khutbah. So the khutbah of the Eid, it comes after the prayers. So we perform our prayers, and then we perform the khutbah. Then the author mentioned when comes any to takbir. He said, فصل يكبر غير الحاج برفع الصوت إن كان رجلا من غروب الشمس ليلة العيدين في الطريق ونحوها. So now any the author yani mentioned when comes any to the takbir. Yani now we are in Eidul Fitr. For example, today yani is the end of Ramadan. Tomorrow yani is Eidul Fitr. So it is a sunnah that we do takbir. When we do takbir? After the setting of the sun. So after any the sun set, we can start any to do any our takbir. So we perform any our Maghrib prayers, and after Maghrib any we perform any takbir. This is called takbir mursal. Takbir mursal. Takbir mursal meaning it is not binded any to prayers. It is a sunnah that you do takbir at any point of time. Meaning when you are walking, when you are in your house, when you go outside, when you are on the way to the market, and all these things. When you are in the market or you are in the masjid, it is a sunnah to do takbir at any time. This is called mursal. Mursal. So for Eidul Fitri, it is takbirul mursal. Eidul Fitri is takbir mursal. So it begins any by the setting any of the sun. The setting any of the sun. And it ends any when the imam any performs any the Eid, any prayer. Type, this is any pertaining to Eidul Fitri. But when comes any to Eidul Adha, the opinion any that we abide to is mentioned any by Al-Imam al-Nawawi, for example. We begin any the takbir after Fajr on the 9 any of Dhul Hijjah. On the 9 any of Dhul Hijjah. So this any takbir is takbir muqayyad. Yani we perform any the takbir after prayers. But when comes any to the setting any of the sun, now it becomes any mursal. So takbir any mursal on the 9 any of Eidul, the two Eid is sunnah. And all the way any until the imams any perform any the Eid prayer. After that any it becomes muqayyad any again. So during the days any of Tashriq, because it ends any until the third day of Tashriq. So it is takbir muqayyad. Meaning muqayyad here, it is binded any to prayers. So after any we perform any prayers, whether the sunnah prayers or the fard prayers, then it is a sunnah any for us any to do takbir. It is not a sunnah any for us to do continuously at any point of time, unless any it is takbir mursal. So takbir any mursal, specifically any is the 9 any of the Eid, the two Eid. ويتأكد مع الزحمة 3 تكبيرات متواليات ويزيد لا إله إلا الله والله أكبر ولله الحمد. And especially when we are in a zahma, in a place where there are congestion, a lot of people, congested any place, it is a sunnah for us to read any the takbir. Although nowadays nobody does it in the market. You don't go to the market, you hear people doing takbir. But last time in the Islamic cities, people used to do takbir during the night of Eidul Fitri or Eidul Adha. Today we only listen to the takbir in the masjid only. You go out to the masjid and no takbir. Nobody does any takbir outside the masjid. Nobody. Correct or not? Except in houses. Yes, in houses. But you don't hear in Singapore, for example, people do takbir in the streets. But if you go other countries in the Middle East, you will listen to people doing takbir, and even they will bring this like a microphone going around and doing takbir, and that is happening. And that is a good Islamic way of reminding people, even in the markets, in the streets, about the greatness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. ويزيد لا إله إلا الله. So salas takbirat mutawaliyat. Salas takbirat, and you say Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, walillahi alhamd. We do it 3 times. So ويزيد لا إله إلا الله, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, walillahi alhamd. ويندب زيادة الله أكبر كبيرا الحمد لله كثيرا. So usually after 3 times we add this one. Allahu Akbar كبيرا والحمد لله كثيرا سبحان الله بكرة وأصيلا. Then also we add لا إله إلا الله ولا نعبد إلا إياه مخلصين له الدين ولو كره الكافرون إلى آخره. So these are so many additions that we add towards the takbir. So all these things brings about the greatness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It explains about the help of Allah for the Muslims, when the Muslims are in the great difficulties, by the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, everything becomes easy for people. ويندب زيادة الله أكبر كبيرا الحمد لله كثيرا سبحان الله بكرة وأصيلا ويستمر إلى تحرم الإمام بصلاة العيدين. And then this what you call it continues إلى تحرم الإمام until the Imam says الله أكبر for the Salatul Eidain, whether Eid al-Fitr or Eid al-Adha. So this is Takbir Mursal, that's what we mentioned. This is called Takbir Mursal. Wallahu a'lam bis-sawab. Inshallah, and we will stop here and we will continue in our next lesson, inshallah, in the upcoming week. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Allahumma salli wa sallim ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali Sayyidina Muhammad. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina adhaban nar. Sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi. Alhamdulillah.